everybody. So in today's tutorial we are going to be making these really cute and adorable Minnie Mouse hair ties. And if we take the bow off, we have Mickey Mouse hair ties. So whichever your child prefers, Mickey or Minnie, or if they like both, you can make a pair. So this is what we are going to be doing in our video today, and I want to say thank you so much for watching my videos. Thank you for coming to the channel and seeing what I am videoing for that day. I know that I've had a couple of like little kitty things pop up here and there. I'm trying to get some extra videos up there to get me through Christmas because I'm trying to give you guys at least a video a day. So again, huge thank you for watching. So we are going to need the following items: 2 colors of yarn if you are going to make Minnie Mouse. If you are going to make Mickey, you only need 1 color of yarn for Mickey. You will need 1 elastic band, a pair of scissors, some form of a stitch marker, whether it's a paper clip. I used to use the big fat paper clips, a yarn needle, and a 3.25 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, so let's grab our supplies and let's get this started. And I figured if I'm going to make some Mickey ears on a hair tie, what better thing to do than wear my Maleficent Mickey ears that I actually got from Disney World. So I'm going to grab my supplies and we're going to get this started. Okay, so we're going to make the ever popular slip knot. I am using pink for the body and for the ears, and I'm probably going to use this multicolored because we already had this discussion that I love my multicolors. So we're going to chain, we're going to get our slip knot on our hook. We're going to chain 10. So we're going to yarn over, we're going to pull through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so now that we have our chain 10, at the second chain from the hook, we are going to put in 1 single crochet. And to do a single crochet, we're going to go in, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through. We're going to go in, pull up a loop. I have 2 loops on my hook, 1, 2, and we're going to pull through 2. And we're going to continue doing that in every single chain going across. You will have a total of 9 single crochets. I will be back at number 9. Okay, so I've just put in my 9th stitch. We're going to, now that we put in our 9th stitch, we're going to chain 1. We're going to turn our work. We're going to do a single crochet in the next stitch, a single crochet in the next stitch, and this is the repeat. So 1 single crochet all the way across from rows 2 to 5. So this is 2, 3, 2, and I will be back when I am at row number 5. Okay, so I am back. I did the 5th row. I chained up 2, and I chained up 2. I snipped off about a good like 2 feet of yarn. You don't really need that much, but I clipped off a little bit more, and I tied it off at that point. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get first of all, I'm going to weave in this little tail here because we don't want little tails. Okay, now if you don't have a yarn needle, hopefully you do because you're going to need one for this project. But we're going to weave in this little tail like right on the ends here in between some of these little stitchings. It's not going to matter too much, more or less right up here on the top part, because these are all going to get sewn together anyways. And that's pretty good right there. I don't want to make this too much of a non-squared piece. I'm going to snip that little piece off. Okay. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take my little piece and I'm going to get it all snug as a bug. Snug as a bug in a rug. Okay. And before I do that, I'm going to get my yarn needle out again. And I'm going to thread this piece through. And like these guys really should only take about 15 to 20 minutes to make total. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're just going to sew this together, and we're going to try to keep it as round square as we can, if that's even a term. But we're going to go in here, we're just going to kind of sew it together. That's all we're doing. We're just sewing this right onto the hairband. And the bow that I did on this one, on the black Minnie Mouse ears, I'm not really going to be doing that with this one. I want to make a little bit of a bigger bow. My oldest called that bow the baby bow. But it's Minnie Mouse. Any bow is a bow. Okay, I'm just going to do a simple knot now that I'm at the end. I'm going to take my yarn and I want to make sure I weave in the tail so it doesn't stick out. I'm going to go like in through the side here, just come up through a few of these stitches here. Nothing massive. And we're going to clip that off, and then we're going to start working on our ears. Okay, so I'm going to grab up a bit of yarn again. And I put my yarn where. Like I said, you guys can't see it, but down below here I have like all those little plastic 3-drawer tote type things. And it houses my yarn quite well. I mean, I do need to find something that's a little bit bigger to hold all my yarn. Okay, so for our Mickey ears, we are going to be doing these with the magic circle. And how we make our magic circle, we hold our yarn with our thumb all the way down at the 3rd finger, come up and around, crisscross, wrap, no, tighten that up, just a hairline, go under, pull up a loop, go over, twist, pull up another loop, and boop, there we go, magic circle. Okay, these ears are not a major catastrophe, they are actually relatively simple. Okay, and we're gonna do 6 single crochets into the magic circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And we're going to, now that we have 6, we're going to take that little tail and we're going to woo, woo, woo. It's going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Some people call this the magic circle. Some people call it a cinch circle. People call it a magic loop. I call it, well, the magic circle, but also that tiny little circle that closes things up really tightly. So let's make sure that we have our working yarn. And we are going to slip stitch at the top chain. The chain 1. Okay, so we're going to wrap our yarn around and pull through all the way through. Okay, now that we're here, we're going to chain 1, and in this very next stitch right next to our chain 1, we are going to put 1 single crochet, and for the remaining stitches around, we are going to put 2 single crochets in every stitch around. Now the chain 1 and the 1 single crochet counts as 2 single crochets. So you will have a total of 12 single crochets all together. So right now I have 6, I need 6 more. And I will be back when I have my 12 single crochets. Okay, so I am back at my 12 single crochets. Now what I forgot to mention in the last round is, like, I can see where my chain 1 is, but if you have a hard time doing that, this would be a good spot when you do your slip stitch to put your little stitch marker. So we're going to, again, chain 1, and in the very stitch below the chain, right next to the very stitch, the same stitch as the chain 1, we're going to do 1 single crochet, and that counts as 2 single crochets. Now, in every single stitch, just like the last round, we're going to put 2 single crochets in every single stitch going around. And because we had 12 before, you should have 24 single crochets once you go all the way around. I will meet you back here. You continue doing the two single crochets. You continue doing 2 single crochets all the way around, and I will meet you back at the very last stitch, and I will then show you how to attach Mickey's ears. Okay, so I've come around to my last stitch, and I'm going to go in here and just slip stitch, and this is where we are going to tie this off. Now you are going to need 2 ears because obviously Mickey and Minnie need more than 1 ear. So after this I'm going to stop the video. I'm going to make my second ear. I'm going to come back and show you guys how to attach his ears. Right now I'm just going to tie this off. So I'm going to take off about like 2 inches, about I want to say about 2 feet of yarn just in case we need it. I always cut off about 24 inches so I have enough yarn to attach his ears. Tie that off. I took the liberty of just cinching up my circle completely like I did before and just clipping the little tail from our magic circle. Okay, so I will be back when I have my second ear and we will put this body of the Minnie together. Okay, you guys, I have a body and 2 ears of my Minnie Mouse. Now this is where you're going to need your yarn needle some more. Okay, and these ears are really simple to attach. Okay, so I have my 2. Okay, so I am going to get everything else out of my way. I have my 2 ears with my long yarn, and they're going to get ready to be attached to the body of our hair tie. Okay, so pick an ear, any ear, as long as you got 2. Mickey can hear completely, or Minnie. Okay, thread the yarn through. Okay, now if you don't have yarn, I'm pretty sure that you could probably just use some simple thread and do it that way. Just try to get it to match the color of your yarn as much as possible. So I'm just going to pick a spot. I want somewhere close to the end of this because, well, these ears are pretty large, which Mickey, that's what's iconic about Mickey, are those ears, those really big ears that Mickey has, so he can hear you so well. Okay. Once you put a couple of stitches into Mickey's body, the Mickey body here, and in the back of this, you will be perfectly fine and you won't have to hold on to the ear so much. So like right now, my ear's not going anywhere and I can kind of move freely around here. And I'm just going towards the end, like right on the edge of this, of our previous stitching, and I'm just putting in a couple stitches, like maybe 3 or 4 stitches, okay, or whatever makes it look, whatever looks good to you is what I would suggest. So if okay, and that's where we're going with this. Hey guys, remember to hit that little notification bell so that you get notified each and every time I upload a new video, whether it be crochet or just driving around my hometown. Yeah. Sure to be fun. Okay, so I'm just going to go in the back here and I'm going to tie this off. So I'm just going to pick a couple stitches to go through. Okay. And just like we did the front body part, I'm just going to go in. Just going to do a simple tie off on this. 1, 2. My daughter loves it when I do this because I'm like 1, 2, and she goes, buckle my shoe. She's 3 and she's pretty good with all of her nursery rhymes and her counting and all of that. I mean, the kid was this Amelia was my what I called my advanced baby. She was. Snip that off, and we're going to get our next ear sewn on. She was my what I called my advanced baby because she rolled over 2 days after we brought her home from the hospital. She was lifting her head up the same day that she was born, and she was crawling by the time she was 4 months and walking by the time she was 9 months. So she was doing a lot of stuff that she probably could have waited a couple more to do. But so we're gonna do the same thing that we did before. We're gonna grab our second ear and we're gonna go right into the edging on these stitching with our yarn, and we're gonna pull this tight so that we pull our ear up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I'm going to attach the second ear, because I have a little trick that I'm going to do with this so that these ears stay in place. Because if you notice that the way they sit kind of like this, and there's like openings here, and I'm going to show you how we're going to make this so that they stay put together. Okay. And I can tell which one of these how I was holding my yarn, because sometimes like when you do a lot of crocheting and you get to the point where you're tired and your hands are starting to ache, your grip on your yarn becomes tighter. And I've been working all day, so my hands are a little bit tired from working, and I'm just tired in general because I've been doing nothing but YouTube videos and trying to crochet scarves and make gifts for family members and trying to get my house in miraculous condition, because I have my entire family coming to my apartment, and it's not even a house, I have an apartment. But I'm so super excited that my family gets to be together this year, because it's going to be like literally the first year that my family has been together in literally 2 years. So yeah, totally excited about that. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm just going to run this way because I want to run over the stitching on the end here. I want to make sure that I get a good, I see that I missed a spot and I want to get that spot tied down, and I'm losing my yarn again on this side. The life of being an Instacart shopper. You have people in the grocery stores that look at you and they say, wow, you're in the store every single day. Do you have are you like a hoarder or something? And it's like, no, I'm shopping for somebody else's family. Okay, so here we go. We're going to continue anchoring this little ear down. Nobody's really going to see these stitches, and believe me, if you did the black yarn, like the traditional Mickey colors, nobody's ever going to see it. Okay, so we're just going to go into the things. We're going to continue attaching this ear. Okay, and we're going to come up here. And the lighting in my bedroom is like the lighting on my drafting table is really super bright. It's not even a drafting table. This is actually, let's see, this is my vanity, my home office. This is pretty much my everything area. It's mostly my crafting area, and that's why I fell in love with this place, because I actually had a spot to do my crafting. Because I like to do more than just crochet. But anyways, okay, so we're going to bring our yarn up if you notice what I was doing while we were talking, I was actually weaving the yarn up the ear. Because what I want to do is I want to put a stitch between, I want to take and put a stitch between this ear and this ear, So these guys are pretty stationary and they're not going anywhere. They're not flopping around, okay? Because, I mean, no offense, but Mickey's ears don't flop. You ever watch one of the Mickey Mouse cartoons? They don't flop. Okay? And putting one or two little stitches in here is not really going to hurt anything. And even at that, even if you did just Mickey, nobody's really going to notice these little stitches. Okay. And now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to tie this off down below so that I can hide my tail. Okay. And that's all this is. Right there, and then you have Mickey at this point if you want it. But I am going to be doing the Minnie Mouse with you guys, so I'm going to show you how to make the bow and then to attach the bow. And my hands are getting tired. Okay, and we're just going to tie this down and we're going to hide our tail. And bada bing. Okay, so very quickly I'm going to show you how to do a bow. And bows are not that hard. Let me just find my... Okay, so we're going to take our same hook that we were using before the bow. We are just going to take and do a quick slip knot. Okay. In this case, we're going to chain 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We are going to do 1 single crochet in every single chain across, starting with the second chain from the hook. When we get to the end, we should have 8 stitches. You are going to chain 1 and turn your work, and we're going to continue doing 1 single crochet in every single stitch across, chain 1, turn your work until you have 4 rounds. And I will be back when I am at the 4th round. Okay, so I am back at my 4th row. I'm just going to basically do my normal, but what I want to do is just like with our ears and our body, I want to cut off about 2 inches, or I'm sorry, I want to cut off about 2 feet. So I have enough to make the middle of this and also to sew it onto Mickey to make Minnie. Okay, now our little square splotchy swatch, I know it doesn't look like a bow right now, but it will very shortly look like a bow. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you another way to weave in this tail at this moment. Okay, I'm just going to take this right here, run it through a few stitches. This was how I originally first started to weave in my tails before I learned to use a yarn needle. Okay, and it's nothing major. It does take a little practice getting through these things, and I haven't done this like this in years, so apparently I am a little rusty at it, but you get the kind of the gist of it. Okay, and now that that's in there, I'm just gonna kind of go along and I'm gonna clip this off, and I'm gonna take my yarn needle. I'm gonna thread my yarn through. Okay. Okay. You get a little grizzly end like I did, just snip it off. No big deal. Okay. I want to tie this down just a hairline so it's a little more taut. Now what I want to do with this bow is I want to go in here one and kind of try to get towards like the middle of this little thing. Try to get towards the middle of this little thing. Sorry guys, I didn't turn my phone off. And go by doing it this way, in and out, in and out, in and out, it's less chance of it really being that visible that you're doing it this way. There is no really right or wrong way to crochet or to do a project. It's how you want to do it. I mean, you can watch all the YouTube videos you want, but ultimately it's your project. So now I'm going to pick this as basically my center of this bow. And what I want to do before I start just wrapping yarn around it, I want to kind of go in the middle and just kind of do a stitch in and out throughout my bow, because I want to be able to get that little crinkle effect. And nobody's going to see these stitches anyways, because you're going to wrap this thing in a few minutes. But this is basically what I want to do, is I want to get that little crinkle effect going down my bow. See how when I pull on this, it pulls tight. And now I'm just going to go down here into these stitches here. Okay, come out the bottom. Okay, and this is just how I like to do my bows. This may not be how you were taught to do a bow or somebody else. And so what we're going to do now, that I have this a little tight in the middle here, we're going to continuously wrap this tight and tight and tight in the middle. And the tighter you get it, the better your bow is going to look. But we already have a bow right now. Okay, this is like the easiest bow ever. And it's just perfect for this little project. Okay, and we're going to run our yarn needle underneath, just so that we can kind of tie those little tie parts off. And now we are ready to put the bow right on Minnie's head. Okay, so now I have my cute little bow. Okay, so now you can pick a spot, any spot to put the bow on. You can either put it on the side of her head, which would look adorable, or you can put it right in the middle. And I think we're going to go with the middle today. Okay, now I want to put one stitch I really want to put one stitch all the way around this, just to anchor her. So one stitch, and I'm kind of trying to choose stitches where it's not going to be as obvious that I'm sewing with a different color than what is in the project. And it's going to be a little hard to get through these stitches, guys, because the single crochets are very, very, very tight stitching. Okay, so it does take a little bit of effort to get through it, but you will get through it. And I'm going to continue sewing my bow on all the way around, and then I'm just going to tie it off like I would tie off any other project that I have done with you guys so far, which by now you guys have seen quite a few projects, hopefully. And if not, well, you can always check out the other projects. That would make me happy. But yeah, basically that's all we're doing. We're just kind of attaching our bow, and that's it. Once this bow is attached, our project is complete. So we want to just make sure we have our bow as even as possible throughout our project. But you guys get kind of the idea behind putting the bow on. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this cute little tutorial on how to make these absolutely adorable little Minnie Mouse hair ties. Again, if you want to make Mickey, just leave the bow off. But I know I had fun crocheting with you guys today. So as always, I want to say thank you so much for watching. Remember to have fun with what you're doing and to keep it real, because I do each and every day. Bye, you guys. Thanks for watching. Happy crocheting.